Novaca nemamo da popravljamo baš stvari.
Nisu navikli plaćati karte, a novac je potreban.
Tužno, jad i bijeda, moramo biti u mraku.
Mladi trebaju više volontirati.
Ja samo želim tematske večeri.
Ali do duše, neki ne znaju kome se trebaju javiti.
Ja bih samo rekao da je program jako dobar i da se nadamo da će ga se što više uspjeti provesti.
Mladi u centru.
Dragi slušatelji, dobrodošli u našu emisiju Mladi u centru. Moje ime je Darija Rendulić i danas se družimo s našim gošćama Tarom i Dovi. One su naime volonterke koje su preko EVS programa došle u Karlovac na godinu dana. Naš će intervju biti na engleskom jeziku, a razgovarat ćemo o njihovom iskustvu, kako su uopće došle u Hrvatsku, što su radile u udruzi Carpe Diem i kakvi su njihovi dojmovi s obzirom da uskoro odlaze Tara u Francusku, a Dovi u Litvu. So girls, hello to our show.
Hello.
Bok. I just gave the short introduction and I mentioned that your EVS experience is soon going to be over, but we're going to leave this topic until the end of the show. First, I would like to start with your professional experience. How was your work in Carpe Diem? What did you do? What did you learn? What did you share with our community? And maybe just to start with, how did you decide to go to Croatia? Tara.
So I finished my bachelor's in France, and after that I didn't want to go to a master's straight away, and I heard of the EVS program and I looked at all the procedures and I was looking more for projects than countries. And this one, I came across this one and it was really good, so I came.
Did you ever think that you would end up in Croatia?
No, not really. I didn't really expect it, but it turned out pretty well.
What about you, Dovile?
Actually, my story is quite similar. The only difference is that I finished my bachelor's in UK, not France, but it's, yeah, I knew that after studies I want to take a break and to figure out what I want to do with my future and what masters I want to do. And EVS seemed like the perfect opportunity to just challenge myself and discover new worlds.
Okay, Tara, you mentioned a bit earlier about seeking actually for a project. So what was your work in Carpe Diem? What did you do? What did you share with us?
So at the beginning, we were mostly doing presentations in high school to introduce the EVS program to the local kids. And then after a while, we started being more comfortable here and putting together our own projects. So for me, that was mostly, I ran two workshops in Carpe Diem. A workshop called Conversational English, where people would just come and chat to learn more about real people English rather than school English. And then I did the Introduction to Theatre workshop, which was really nice. I had a really good group. And we also worked a little bit on social media for Carpe Diem. And
But you also participated in a lot of different exhibitions and workshops, activities,
We basically, every time there's an event happening in Carpe Diem, we help out, and we also volunteered on two festivals. First, Fotodan Mladi. I was with the former volunteer Agat. We were doing, preparing the exhibitions, and then we helped organize and run Artica Festival. So I was doing workshops, creative workshops for kids. We were making musical instruments with like tin cans and stuff like that. And also we did, I did 10 ways there. Like it's people buy books without money. It's a pretty cool project. So yeah, that was me.
And Dovile, what about you? I mean, you finished your bachelor photography.
Yes.
And you did quite a lot of work, and I would actually say one huge project, Inside Out. So would you like to give us your opinion about it?
So when I first came here, actually, I knew about the Inside Out project for quite a while now. And it was just really random thing. I was talking with my friend, and I remember the project, and I showed her and I shared like what I know about the project. And the thing that encouraged me to do it here was how excited people were and how much they wanted to put Karlovac on Inside Out map. So Inside Out project is basically a global art project that has been organized in over 100 countries, and now this project was the first one in Croatia. So I'm really proud of it, and especially it was really good way to start my EVS, because it was after we started organizing it like a month or 2 months after I arrived, and it took place in July. And it was the perfect, way to celebrate. And it actually took place on Karlovac's birthday.
And the next question was like your other activities, your photography workshop, storytelling, right? Okay, so just...
Yeah. So when I first came here, I found out that I'm gonna be participating in the festival Fotodani Mladi. And at first, Philip suggested that I do run a workshop or something like that, but it turned out to be kind of like not a lecture, but just a short, how do you say it? Not a lecture, but
a presentation?
Like just a presentation about storytelling, because I think it's really important in photography and any kind of artwork. And I was taking pictures. Actually, throughout this year, I've been taking quite a lot of pictures and documenting many events. And I really enjoyed this activity because it made me feel more, it helped me find the way to the community and helped me meet many new people. And through photography, I actually made friends and, shared my experience, and at the same time learned a lot.
Okay, I have to ask you about some stuff, how EVS program is organized, especially when it comes to finances, of course, because it's a really important topic, especially because people in Croatia and especially Karlovac are not maybe so informed about it. So you going to high schools and presenting the whole EVS program is the best possible way to inform people about it. But when it comes to finances, please, could you tell us, like, how did you live in Croatia? Who paid for your apartment, your food, your traveling expenses, etc.?
Well, the great thing about EVS, and what was a big factor for me, is that all of that is covered. There's a budget. It's part of the Erasmus Plus program from the European Union. And so there's a budget, and each project is financed. So, for example, accommodation, food, if you're traveling in the context of your work, all of that, it's covered. You also get health insurance, a free health insurance that covers everything.
Yeah, you can even buy contact lenses and glasses with that insurance. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so the budget is calculated on the cost of living in each country. So if you're going, for example, coming from France to Croatia on this budget, is very reasonable for me, because the cost of living here is not as high as in France, and the money we get is it's enough.
It's decent.
It's really decent. Yeah. So yeah, all of the finances are covered. You can live off the money you get from the...
And that's actually another skill you get from EVS, like how to organize your budget.
Oh yes, yes. And also the great thing is that Carpe Diem found an apartment for us. And actually we didn't have to worry about the bills or the rent or anything like that. We would just get money for food and pocket money that we can spend on anything we like. So it is kind of like you learn budgeting, but at the same time it feels as if you're kind of in a bubble and everyone's looking after you and they're taking care of all the practicalities that are related to like
practical.
Okay, so when it comes to money, I just want to emphasize to our listeners that if they decide to take an EVS program, they shouldn't be concerned about the money at all.
No. And also the traveling to the country is also covered up to 90%. So like when I came from France, I took a bus and I paid 10 euros. So.
And that's very reasonable.
It's very reasonable.
Okay, we're gonna talk a bit more after some music. Okay, that should be in Croatian. Okay. So girls, in the second part, I would like to concentrate more on your personal experiences in Croatia, because you were also traveling quite a bit. So I would like you to share your experiences about meeting new people, about different culture, language, of course. So what's your opinion about Croatia after a year spent in Croatia?
People are amazing here. I don't know. We met so many inspiring and just incredibly helpful, lovely and caring people. It might be, at the same time, it might be the reason why we met them and we're surrounded just by lovely people, is that we're doing EVS program. But I don't know.
Yeah, for starters, the team here with Carpe Diem, they're amazing, and the people they know are also amazing. So you just snowball effect, just meet just good people. And Croatia is a really beautiful country as well. And because with the EVS, you go on certain trainings and you don't do it in the town you're staying, and you meet other EVS volunteers. So you don't just meet locals, you also meet other people from all over Europe, and you get to go and see them if they live by the coast, and it's quite nice. And you also travel with them, like you said. It's a really great place to travel because nothing is too far away and the buses aren't very expensive. So all the coast is amazing, and the Plitvice lakes, or it's just such a small country, but so many different and beautiful things to see.
Yeah, I like that it's so diverse. I mean, I went to Varaždin, that didn't even seem like part of Croatia when you compare it to the coast. Most people, when they think of Croatia, it's just the coast, beautiful sea, I don't know, like seaside resorts and stuff like that. And then you go to a place like, I went there for Spancierfest to see a pair of Stellar, and it was one of the highlights in this year. I love that town.
Before coming to Croatia, did you have like any knowledge at all about Croatia besides the coastline and Adriatic Sea and resorts, as you mentioned earlier?
Not really. I knew where it was on a map, and I heard about it like in history class and stuff like that a little bit, but I didn't really know much.
Did you have any like stereotypes about so-called Balkan area, or?
I didn't really know enough about it to have a stereotype, if I'm really honest.
Well, I think maybe 8 years ago, I went to Croatia on family holidays. So I've been here, and before deciding like to go and do my EVS project, although the whole experience and what it was coming here for just holidays and living here for a year is completely different.
Would you like to really like emphasize anything you like about Carpe Diem or your friends here, or anything at all?
Well, like we mentioned before, there's this EVS bubble type of thing, which is really amazing, and part of that, the reason why our EVS was really special and really great, is because of this team and these people that we met. And I learned a lot, like on a, let's say, more professional level, but most importantly for me, I will remember EVS as a really extraordinary human experience.
It just feels like I have another family here in Croatia. Really, really big Balkan family, which I'll be always grateful for.
Okay, and I of course saved the hardest question for the end. what about when your EVS experience ends? Like, do you have some plans, or do you just plan to go home and think about it for some time? Do you plan to pursue your education, or maybe to get a job?
Getting a job would be nice. But actually working here inspired me to look for more opportunities and maybe work on creating opportunities for other young people. Just a few days ago, I started applying for youth exchanges and training courses so that I could actually contribute and maybe give something back and share my experience, which would be awesome. And also I would love to start my master's from September. But I still need to focus, get the references, get all the paperwork sorted. So that is a rough plan what I'm gonna do with my future.
Okay. Well, first I'm gonna go home and I have to work a little bit because I'm gonna need some money when I get back home. And so I have a few opportunities in a local newspaper lined up, so that's nice. I have something immediate. But for the long term, I would like to continue traveling more with similar programs or internships or something. It gives me a taste for traveling and living abroad. I would also, at some point, like to pursue my education with a master's. I'm considering different ones, but I'm not quite sure if I would apply in September or if I would travel again in September. It depends which opportunities I find and how things turn out. So I'm not quite sure at the moment.
Okay, and all in all, would you recommend EVS to young people?
Oh, of course.
Definitely. If you're gonna decide to do EVS, do 12 months because as the guy from my sending organization told me, the first 6 months is just learning experience, and you're just
adjusting to community and people and organization.
Yes. And you're just taking all in, and after 6 months, you start getting to know the place, getting to know the people, and you see, like, you can see what kind of problems there are in community and how you can help and make the place better or something like that. And so I actually found it true that after 6 months you start contributing so much more. And I think it's important to know that you can do short-term EVS, which is up to 2 months, and then you can do long-term. If you decide to do short-term, it's up to 2 months, and then you can do another 10 months. But it cannot exceed 12 months, and you can only do it once in your life. So my advice for you people, don't do 3 or 4 months because you're gonna regret it. Because you start loving the place, and 3 months is not enough.
You've barely started adjusting and you have to leave again. So, like, we know some people who stayed only for 6 months and they were really disappointed that they couldn't stay longer because that's when they were really starting to enjoy their experience. And also, if you want to really explore the country and the place and build friendships and contribute, like you said, to the community in some way, you need time.
Okay. Thank you very much for this interview, and I really hope that you will share your experience in your countries, in France and
Litva?
Yeah, I know it's Litva, but I always forget the English word. Okay. Thank you very much for this interview, and I really hope that you're going to share your experiences in your countries, in France and Lithuania. And of course, I wish you like all the best with your education or traveling or some other programs you decide to take. So thank you very much for being in Croatia and for sharing your thoughts and opinions and your activities with us.
Thank you, Daria.
Dragi slušatelji, bile su ovo naše Tara i Dovi, EVS volonterke koje su u Karlovcu provele godinu dana. Tara se uskoro vraća u Francusku, a Dovi u Litvu. Kažu da je EVS iskustvo bilo jedno od najboljih iskustava i sugerirale su vam naravno da i sami istražite tu opciju. Tako da se nadamo da smo vas ovom emisijom potaknuli da barem razmislite o ovom načinu mobilnosti. Slušamo se naravno iduće nedjelje u istom terminu.
Mladi u centru i Trend Radio.